Welcome all, welcome none, because I'm sure no one's gonna listen to this first episode, but we're gonna give it the old college try anyways. This is a new podcast. My name is Colton. I have my friend Dillon here.
What's up?
Yeah,
Already messed it up.
I know
That's
I
okay.
tripped over my words like a freaking asswipe, but this is a new podcast. It's called If Stupid Had a Name, which you should already know because you tapped on it to listen to it. But hey, you're still gonna say it anyways. General premise of this podcast, if you haven't listened to the trailer, is we kind of talk about, talk about stuff that's happened to us over the past week because we're only gonna plan on uploading once a week for right now. We'll see how this goes, or if we can do more. But we'll do ridiculous news stories that happened throughout the week or within the last 10 minutes because that's how this world works. And then regular news stories, and then we'll hit up a little bit on Reddit because Reddit is always good for gold. So we're going to start it off with...
And why not? Every other podcast does it. So, you know.
Right.
Screw it. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it anyways. We're going to start off with Dillon, who thinks he broke his pinky. Take it away.
So, so I can't necessarily say, like, what happened exactly. Like, I can't say where it happened, I should say. But, so, I'm helping, someone out, and, we were dealing with some issue, and I go to hit the hammer on this tool that I was using, got my pinky instead. I shit you not, I almost cried because it hurt so bad. I was like, damn, this, like, I'm just, like, rubbing it, make sure, like, oh, God, if it's broken, I have to do something about it. But I'm, like, moving it around and still. So I'm pretty sure it isn't broken. But then I get closer to the end of the day, and I was putting something back, and my pinky got caught. And when I was trying to shift this thing out, and it pinched my pinky right on where I hit it. And I was ready. I'm like, I'm ready to call it a day because god damn.
And it was only 8 a.m. No.
It was actually close. I think it was like 10:30.
Oh, jeez.
Oh. But in the same week, I kid you not, I hit 3 other extremities. Two my both index fingers, which I can talk about. I did hit those at work, which all that happened was they got bruised. They're better now. But yeah, and then I pinched my thumb, and that week was not fun.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a fun week. So
that was the same week me and you went to the concert.
Oh yeah, that was pretty fire. So little background, which we probably should have done first. I am a over-the-road truck driver, and so that's why we're only going to do this weekly, because I'm usually gone for the week. Hey, that's what over-the-road means. Dillon, you do...
I do tear down at a truck parts company, and we basically get, like, where I work at specifically, we get older transmissions, and we tear those down, and, well... every once in a while, you hurt yourself, and you learn from it.
Yeah.
But our safety program kind of went balls to the wall and was like, you get a splinter and you better tell them, otherwise they're going to find where you live and drag you out.
Right. We don't need to go into why the safety program is the way it is. We can maybe share.
Oh, yeah, we all know.
We can save that for another time.
But
some dude got fucking folded.
Oh yeah. I totally forgot about that just now.
So,
but yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Well, and
now it has this weird bump on it, and I'm kind of concerned by it.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Well, I can say because we both went in our high school offered a chance to go to the county our high school was in had a tech center. To a lot of counties, we are in the state of Michigan. You don't need to know where in Michigan, but we're in the state of Michigan. And a lot of counties in Michigan, I don't know if it's like that for other states. For a lot of, if you're in either 11th or 12th grade, at least for us, you could go to the tech center, the countywide tech center. They had a whole bunch of different programs. They had like a diesel mechanic program. They had culinary. They had stuff for learn how to game program. how to do stuff in television, like make commercials and editing, and not suck ass at podcasts. As you can tell, we didn't take that class. Uh, but we took the construction class, and the construction class was a 2 year class. So since we did it our junior year, we also did it our senior year as well. And
Hella fun. Hella
it
fun.
was great, and neither of us are currently using construction in any capacity in our lives. So
That's actually not true. I use it very rarely, time to time.
but it's not like we work, rough framing or doing like siding or shingling or anything like that on a house or whatever. So as a job, so that's what we did for 2 years. And the tech teachers we had four of them because we had two. There was one teacher for the first years, the quote unquote first years, and then a teacher for the quote unquote second years. And then each group also had a what was it called? Were they called parapros?
Yeah.
Like that parapro, yeah, a parapro, which basically was a person that would help out because if you got 30 kids on a construction site, if a teacher has a question, he can't bounce around the whole construction site answering questions. So they give another person there to help out.
It's the same thing like the school that I used to go to.
In the hood, yeah.
Sorry. They would the classrooms were like super big, but we would have like I know I can say it, but we would have special needs kids in those classes with us. And so, but because the teacher was just focusing on the already huge classroom that they had, we would always have a parapro in some form of capacity, whether it was an assistant teacher or just a parapro.
Right. So you guys didn't have like where the special needs kids or whatever would go to like a separate class?
So the district that we lived in was actually big enough to where we had a specialized school for all of them, but
okay.
Depending on where you lived, you would have to go to the regular middle school.
Okay, that makes zero sense, but all right.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like me and my sister were 2 years apart. So her first year of middle school, she went to the special school, and then when I started middle school, she was in 8th grade, and she got flipped at the end of her 6th grade to the regular middle school.
Okay.
But yeah, she would have to take regular classes in them, and she'd get frustrated because it's just like, I can't understand this shit.
Right. You need a little bit more. You need help. Because like your sister, it's not like she has function over herself. That's not a problem. She's, I guess, what you would call high functioning. Yeah. Even though I know people don't like that term, but it's the best.
Apparently,
what else are you gonna do? It's either high functioning person with autism or a low functioning normal person. So I mean, I think I vote the second one is more derogatory in my opinion. So, but yeah, that's okay. I can't.
Yeah, she was high functioning in the capacity of like, basically doing everything herself.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, for example, she has a little harder time with like numbers and stuff, which is, I mean.
So, sorry, I got interrupted. You continue on.
So they So yeah, she would be like, struggle with numbers and stuff like that. Like when we moved to where we are, well, not now, but where we were during high school.
Yeah, you finished out your high school. Yeah. Which is the same school I went to.
Middle school, technically. Yeah.
Well, you finished out middle and high school, but yes.
Yeah. So she actually did like 10 times better there because they had just a classroom where they would focus on everybody.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there was like what I think at least 15.
Well,
not even.
Are you
like
saying
10,
for high school or
kids.
are you saying for high school or middle school?
Oh yeah, high school.
High school. Well, I think in our grade there was only 2 or 3 kids that were in that like separate class. I'm not sure. I know 2, maybe 3. So yeah, if you average that out, probably 15-ish kids. Probably in high school. I could see that 15 kids.
Yeah.
So, that's that. So that's a little bit on us. Dillon almost thinking he broke his pinky. What you did is, well, anyways, going back, circling back to what this is all about. I can say the worst feeling in the world, in my opinion. Obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit. Is so like say it's it's minorly cold out. Maybe like sweatshirt weather, like 50s or so, and you're going to put in a nail on whatever you're doing, and you get the nail started, and you give it one more whack. Just one more whack to get the nail started, and
one more whack.
You just clip your thumb with the hammer. Oh my god! If someone was there, I'd throw a hammer through their head.
Like hitting your thumb, like on your hand or whatever, the meat, not bad.
Not bad.
Like, oh, that kind of hurt.
Yeah, like won't do that shit again.
Skidding just the nail,
Oh.
the absolute one of the absolute worst feelings.
Oh, it's like white hot pain. I don't know why it feels so much different, but it's like, or if you drop something, not even very heavy, just a little bit, it just clips it. It's like, oh, I think I'm dead.
So this is gonna be kind of gross if you're not good with gore, I guess.
That's right. Nobody's listening to this.
But so speaking about thumbs, when I was in high school, sometime in high school, I was using my mom's potato cutter or slicer, and I was getting to the end, and I wasn't paying attention, and my thumb clipped. I felt the blade hit my thumb.
Oh.
And then I pulled it off, and I felt it slide out. I was like, "Oh my god, this shit sucks." I'm looking at it. I'm starting to bleed, and the part don't worry, my thumb's still attached. But the part that I hit my thumb on, that chunk of skin, immediately went dead. It turned all gray, and I'm like, "Am I gonna need stitches for this?" Nah, I just wrapped that shit
I just throw a Band-Aid on it. It's alright.
I didn't even throw a Band-Aid on it. I took paper towel, wrapped it, and took medical tape, and then wrapped that.
Because that's sanitary.
Oh yeah, totally. And then a few hours later, I took it off, and then because I wanted to wash it, obviously, because I did touch contaminated potato cutter.
Right.
And obviously I stopped using the potato cutter. I washed it and all that stuff. I think my mom actually finished it, but yeah, I washed it and the skin just flapped up, and I was like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna go throw up now, so I'll be right back. So, anyways, that's a good segue to us. So today, the day we are recording this, it is in the evening of September 7th. Earlier today, so going back to yesterday for us, which was September 6th, I was driving around in my truck, and I come to a stop, and I hear a slight grinding noise. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound right. So I go again, and I go what I think, wherever I was going, get the green light, whatever, go on, get the next red light, and I muted my radio, and I turned off the climate fan so I could hear it more, and I could definitely hear something grinding. But it was only the brakes, so I knew I was like, okay, well, it's not wheel bearing, because if it was wheel bearing, you'd hear it all the time. You'd hear it when the vehicle was moving.
Especially when you turn, yeah.
Correct. But it was only when I stepped on the brake, so I knew it was probably wore through one of my pads on the brakes. Well, I checked them yesterday, and with how the brake calipers are on my truck, it couldn't really see how much pad was on the inside pad of the brakes because of how the calipers were. And so I could see they were low, but I couldn't see how much pad was left on them. So driving around today, and it was getting worse today. So I'm like, okay, well, I probably should go buy new brakes. Well, hold on, back up. Yesterday when I checked, I also looked at the rotors, because if you have metal, scraping on metal, your rotors won't be shiny. They'll have scuff marks on them from the metal. And the inside rotor, or the inside of the rotor on the passenger side front, was scuffed up. So that was already a sign that I probably have metal on metal contact.
Ooh!
Yeah, so
that's always fun.
So I went to the parts place, bought parts, bought pads and rotors, came home, I put it up on the jack, or my jack, put it on jack stand, and did the driver's side first. Take the wheel off, take the caliper out, which was when we did your brakes, my brakes were actually a lot easier to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at least taking it apart. It was a
Well,
lot easier
I mean,
because
we also didn't.
I don't have caliper clips like you did on your car.
I'm guessing you also don't have to deal with trying to spend an hour and a half on how to jack up a
Yeah, because
car.
your car was unibody. I actually have a frame, so I could just put it on the frame. I know, what a concept. But I don't have caliper clips, so it's real easy. You don't have to take those. I've been putting them back on. You ain't got to worry about them. It's a
Yeah,
lot
right,
easier not
right.
having to do that. So, anyways, take it off. Take the caliper off. Take the caliper mount off with the pads on them. Put them off to the side. And then I just have to take the rotor off. And the rotor didn't come off. So I'm like, okay, well, it could just be a little stick. So I'll just, tap the back on where there is the dust shield. Start hitting the back. Nothing. Okay, hit it a little harder. Nothing. Hit it a little harder. Nothing. All right, let me tap the front of it now and see if I can get it to wiggle. Nothing. Probably beat on it for like 5 minutes, right? Nothing. Would not move. Took some PB Blaster, sprayed PB Blaster where PB Blaster didn't need to go, but hey, I'm trying to get the goddamn rotor off. Will not come off. Will not come off. So,
I took a sledgehammer to that idiot.
I called my grandfather because he used to work on cars back in the day at a dealership and stuff. And so I'm like, okay, maybe he's got some tricks and stuff like that. He's like, well, if you had a torch, you could just torch it. Well, I don't have a torch, like a little butane torch.
Yeah,
Can't do
right.
that. He's like, well, if you want, you can hit between. So like you have the studs, the wheel studs. If you hit between the studs on the rotor, that could maybe pop it off. I'm like, okay, I'll try that. Couldn't do it. Actually hit one of the studs by accident and it poked through, but that's not a big deal. It just, there's like grooves on the back of the stud till you pull it back out, so that's not an issue. Anyway, so try that. Call him again. He's like, well, hit around the out, blah blah. He told me another thing to do. Do that. Still nothing. Well, I had a little 4-pound hammer with a wooden handle. Probably like it's probably like a 12-inch handle. I'm going. Yeah. I'm getting pissed off, right? And so I just start beating on the frickin' rotor as hard as I can.
As you should.
As hard as I can, with the space I could work with. And I go, and then what's that just fell? Oh, the fucking hammerhead just came off the handle. Swell! So,
oh my god,
yeah, I look
dude.
and the wood broke off of. There was still wood inside the hammer, but it actually broke. The wood broke. I'm like,
I would be honestly so
dude.
pissed.
I was about to go freaking grab a shotgun and just start shooting my truck because I was getting pissed off, man. So I'm like, well, I think my dad has a sledgehammer. He does. He has an actual like true sledgehammer, right? So I get that. And of course, while I'm doing this, I'm doing it in the garage, and there's no airflow in the garage. It's only 7 degrees out, but it was humider than an MF outside. I mean, like, people from Florida would be like, damn, that's pretty humid up here. Yeah, it was that freaking humid. And so I'm just sweating like a pig, right? And so, of course, now there's rust all laying on the garage floor, and I don't want to roll around in that. So I grab, like a little, can't think of the word. Whatever, doesn't matter. A little thing to lay down on, to roll underneath my truck.
Fighting whatever. Yeah.
Roll underneath the truck. Grab the sledgehammer, and I didn't even. This part pissed me off. I got the rotor off. It took me about 3 or 4 taps with the sledgehammer, and I didn't even hit it that hard with the sledgehammer. And I hit it once, and it went boop, and it damn near slid right off the stuff. I was like, are you? I was like, oh yeah, I loosened it up earlier breaking that. I'm so big tough guy. Yeah. I'm so pissed.
Speaking about like,
no, I'm not done. Do all that. Do the driver's side. Drop it down. Put it all back together. Do the driver's side. Do the passenger side. I took the caliper mount out, and the damn rotor basically damn near falls off the studs. I'm like, oh, so this one's easy as hell. But I had to make up for it on the other side by breaking shit, right?
Right.
Get done, put it all back together, back out, so I can take it for a test drive and stuff. And I look, my ABS light's on. While either doing, I put my scan tool to it. So either doing, it's the front left ABS or wheel speed sensor is what's having an issue. So either doing it, I either unplugged it by accident, I broke it somehow, or which I'm hoping is just some rust or brake dust covering the sensor. And so maybe driving down the road it'll clear out and it'll fix itself.
Did you just have to do your 2 front brakes?
Yeah, I just had to do my front brakes. Yeah, and the inside rotors, or the inside pads rather, on both sides were really worn down. And the passenger side there was 0 pad left. It was on metal. But like the outside pads still had a ton of life on them. So I don't know why it's wearing the inside so much faster.
And it could have been because of how you're, I don't know. Usually, like, I know with like different wear patterns on brake pads, you can tell what your car's actually doing
Right.
and stuff like
Yeah, I
that.
haven't looked up why it's what it means when the inside's wearing more than the
Yeah.
outside, but like my caliper guide pins, they slid in and out just fine. So I know that's not the issue. But so tomorrow the project is, if it doesn't clear itself going to and from, I just got to go into work for a little bit, but if it doesn't clear itself, then I'm gonna try and see if I can, maybe if I just unplugged it by accident or something. So I got to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
I
was so freaking pissed off. But at least,
although
and then like the first times I step on the brake, it was like really spongy. Like I'm like, what the hell? But then after driving around more, I breaking and putting some pad on the rotor and stuff, it started working better. So I was like, oh my god, why
I
can
want
it
to.
never be freaking easy?
Oh no,
Always a pain in the
you're
ass.
asking too much.
I know.
Like I want to just touch back on like tools breaking. I literally just talked about this with one of my coworkers today. So, one of my I bought a new dead blow months ago. It was from Mac Tools, $80 for a 56-ounce dead blow, but it's a plastic composite type dead blow, so it'll last me a lot longer. Well, when I first started out and I went to tear down at my job, I bought a Husky 45-ounce because I like Husky. I don't know why, I just
Yeah,
do.
Husky's not bad.
Yeah, Husky ain't bad until you start beating the absolute dog shit out of your tool. Then it's a different story. I literally had this mallet for a week, or dead blow, sorry, for about a week, and I'm just like beating the crap out of it. And I go to swing it because I'm trying to get this part out, and I swing and I hit it instantly. I mean, I already put wear and tear on it, splits in half. I'm like, are you are you serious? Like holy
Are
shit.
you serious?
So
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the fun I had. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully the sensor can just clear itself and everything's all hunky dory. That's the
And
only thing I
talking
hope.
about clearing themselves, my body did that a few weeks ago.
Boy, we are just killing the motherfucking segues right now.
So we're this happened like I think we went to the concert last week, maybe like 2 weeks ago before that, so about 3 weeks ago now. We my mom's side of the family, well my mom's dad's side, so my grandpa. That side always gets together every year, pretty much no matter what. Unlike last year, we had issues with rain and stuff. So we show up this year and we're hanging out, having a good time. We spend about, I want to say, 2.5, 3 hours there, just hanging out,
Mhm.
talking with family,
Yeah,
eat.
normal family
And I
reunion
ate,
type stuff.
you know. I go to the bathroom the first time at the park because we went to a park and it was obviously it's public restrooms and stuff. So I
Ooh.
went there. I did not use it. I only used it to go number one.
Okay, to go
So
have a piss, mate.
yeah. So I went to go take a leak, and I already felt it coming. I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Not
And
good.
yeah, I'm like, all right, you know what? I can hold it till we get home. Whatever, not that big of a deal. Oh boy, let me tell you what, I barely fucking made it. we get ready to go home, and in the car, I let one rip, but a little something something almost came out, and I was like, all right, we need to get home now. So I step on a little bit. I'm like, fucking like, oh shit. Get home, pull right in the driveway, and it kicks in, and I'm like ready. Well, the shitty part about it
No
is,
pun intended.
yeah, yeah, is my mom's because I took my mom's car because she has a bigger trunk and all that stuff.
Yeah, to hide the dead bodies, right?
Right, yeah, and but she has a key on her thing, and I was hoping to God that my dad and them would would show up first, so I wouldn't have to sit there and try and unlock the door
While you're playing
while
beat the
I'm
clock with your
yeah
ass.
while I'm puckering.
Yeah.
So so we get home, and lo and behold, yeah, I'm the first one. We're the first ones, and I'm with my sister and my girlfriend, and I'm like. I'm like, we gotta go now. And we had the dish that we brought, which was taco salad. And I'm holding it, and I'm looking at my sister. I'm like, you need to fucking take this right now. I need to go. Like, I have got to go. There is no holding it anymore. So I'm like, I run to the door, and thank God there's only like 2 or 3 keys on my mom's keys. And I find the right one, and I'm like jamming it in there. I'm like, open the fucking door, open the fucking door, you know?
Yeah.
Like, get in there, go, go, go. Yeah, I made it, so I didn't shit myself, thank God. But yeah, that was uncomfortably close. Not even gonna lie, very uncomfortably close.
Yeah, there is not quite anything like driving home, playing beat the clock in your car, when you're having issues. Leave it, regardless of what it is. When you're having issues of some sort, there is nothing like driving at that time. It's almost like you bring in your inner NASCAR or anything. You're like, any motherfucker gets in my way, they are ending
Tokyo
up,
drifting.
They are ending up firewall deep in the ditch. All right.
Well, it's just like whenever you have like something important to do, whether it's beating the clock with your turtle head poking out or whatever. It's like, especially where I guess where I technically live, you hit every red light, every single one.
Oh, so they're not timed.
Every single one.
They're not timed worth a damn, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, okay, sweet, this one's green, and if you're good enough, you'll hit every green light. But I'm trying to rush home. Like,
oh hell no!
I gotta go. I gotta take care of some business.
When you're trying to make,
you're hitting every single red light.
Yeah, when you're hauling ass to the porcelain bank, you're hitting every red light. All right,
Oh.
and then if you don't get hit every red light, you get boxed in like a turtle's pecker between two slow motherfuckers, one in front of you and one behind you, every time without fail. That always happens. So
Every time.
So all right, moving
Talking
on.
about shit.
Moving on from
Talking about shit.
Talking
No,
about
man.
shit. All right, so the Lions apparently, the Detroit.
The Lions are gonna do. The Lions are gonna do good.
The NFL thought it was a good idea to have the Detroit Lions, who
Hey, they went 9-8.
Yes, after going the
Last
first 5-1, or I'm sorry, 1-5.
I
or
don't
1-6.
care what. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. Any team that can turn that around is a good team, in my opinion.
Yes.
I mean, I'm a Detroit Lions fan, anyways, but still.
Well, because there's a video. I don't know. You could probably still find it on YouTube because it's not like politically offensive to where one side get pissed off. So it hasn't been taken. To my knowledge, it hasn't been taken down. There's a video. I don't know if it's actually, and this is way before the AI stuff started coming around where you could fake people's voices through AI. This is way before that. So I don't know if Tim Allen actually did the voiceover or somebody that has a really good imitation of Tim Allen. But if you live in Michigan, and maybe if you live in Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Minnesota, around Michigan, we get a lot of Pure Michigan ads, which is ads saying hey, this is what you can do up in the UP or Northern Michigan or whatever like that,
Yeah.
tourism thing. And Tim Allen, since he's from Michigan, does the voiceover for those ads. Well, there was an ad about this was back when the Lions were complete trash. I think this might have been done after they went 0-16. So I mean, this was done
2008.
Yeah, so this was done 10, 12 years ago, right? And it goes on about the ad about how Detroit Lions fan base are the most loyal because every year, they're like, oh, this is the year, we're gonna go to the playoffs, and halfway through the season they haven't won a motherfucking game. It's like, oh yeah, every year they do that. Oh, the team's good this year. We went 4-0 in preseason. Yeah, you went 4-0 playing your first string, while everybody else is playing your second and third string. Of course you should fucking win. God damn. But he
Like,
he would go through the ad and he'd call the Detroit Lions fan crazy fuckers. He's like, these crazy fuckers every year would always think the Lions would do good. It's a great ad. It's awesome. I don't know if it's still on YouTube, but if it is, give it a listen
that's
because
funny.
it is fantastic. It is awesome.
These crazy fuckers.
It's so good. I don't know if Tim Allen did it or if somebody that sounds like Tim Allen, but it's so
Right.
good. It is so good. But anyway, so the Lions, because the NFL thought it was a good idea, are the kickoff for the season against the fucking Super Bowl champions. So yeah, that's gonna go real well, I bet. I think they've started right now.
Listen. No, it starts in like 15 minutes.
Oh, okay, because we're doing.
I am gonna be watching the game. I'm not gonna lie. I am gonna be watching the game while we're doing this.
Yeah.
I have Peacock, so they're streaming it live on there.
Oh.
But
Peacock can suck a cock in my opinion, but. That I have that for different reasons, but anyways, continue on. The only thing I know of big out of it is that Travis Kelce is not playing because he's either injured or something.
Okay.
So the this big is up your alley. You're more NFL.
I know that I'm about to explain it. So Travis Kelce was going to be ruled out from playing, but this morning. They were exercising his knee. He tweaked his knee, I believe, or something to do with his hamstring. One of the two, I can't remember. But they said that he was going to play, and then they turned around. This is how I know Kansas City is scared of the Detroit Lions because they're making Travis Kelce play. Because I know a lot of people, if the Detroit Lions won, which they're gonna win, no matter what.
These crazy fuckers.
They're gonna be like, "Oh, it's because they didn't have Travis Kelce in there." And it's like, fuck off, dude.
I hate that shit. When they say, "Oh, we had this one player." Yeah. This one player would have stopped your defense, even though Travis Kelce has nothing to do with the defense. Would have stopped the defense from playing like shit. Yeah. That one player would have made a huge difference.
And another, one of their defensive players isn't playing. The defensive tackle, I think Chris Jones, he's not playing today. And
so
then
what you're saying is there's a chance.
There is a chance.
There's a chance that the Lions won't make a fucking embarrassment of themselves on national TV. Well, hey, to be fair, their last national TV game was against the Green Bay Packers, and then those SOBs won. You know, Detroit couldn't make the playoffs, but they sure as shit could show if the Packers made the playoffs last year.
Oh yeah, they're like, if we're not going, you're not going either, fuckers.
You're coming down with us.
So, yeah, Chris Jones is out. Let's actually take a look if Travis Kelce is going to actually.
Travis Kelce's a tight end, right?
Yes, he is.
That's what I thought.
He's a very good tight
end. I know
end.
He's one of the best tight ends in the league right now.
He's out. Yes.
So what you're saying is there's a chance.
There's a huge chance.
There's a huge chance. Yeah. So
yeah, he injured his knee.
Okay.
But
we probably won't go much more into that at all. Excuse me. Sorry, I didn't mean to mute my mic and I didn't get it fast enough. So I don't watch NFL football. The only times I actually will sit down and watch football per se is Thanksgiving because it's the only MF thing on. And Super Bowl Sunday because it's the only thing on, and by that point you generally have hopefully the two best teams, so it's usually decent football. Not always though. Last year's Super Bowl game was actually really good, but like the previous 2 years, games were really boring.
Yeah, there was yeah, there have just been like very boring games.
Yeah. Well, see, what it's come down to a lot is defense. Defense. And if you have a really good defense, which is good for you because the other team isn't scoring, except when you have two teams with fantastic defense, all it is 3 downs, then punt. 3 downs, then punt. 3 downs, then punt. 3 downs, then punt. It's like, oh my god.
It's also like this. I know a lot of sports casters have already like mentioned this, but like the league that we're in now is such a wide receiver heavy league.
Yeah.
Like nobody is really trying to run the ball. Like you got good running backs like Jamal Williams, David Montgomery, Alvin Kamara and stuff, but he's out for 3 games. But you have all these like decent running backs that can make plays for their teams. It's just they're not as important as wide receiver anymore. It's
Right.
just like I think it was like back in the '90s when Barry Sanders was playing.
Yes.
Everybody wanted a running back. Everybody wanted to.
Right. But
But
also too, a lot of teams had running backs, but also wide receivers. Unlike the
the
Lions, we couldn't
Lions,
figure that out. Oh,
the Lions,
we should have a run game and a passing game.
the
What?
reason why this year, the reason why there's so much hype for the Lions, it's not only the combination of a decent offense. Like we had, I think we were in the top 5 offenses for the league.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I was
because
gonna say they were.
Goff is a fucking machine.
Well,
Like
once he got
2 years ago, okay.
settled in.
As a Detroit Lions fan, I will say 2 years ago, I was
Everybody was
absolutely
ready to.
shitting bricks.
Everybody was.
I was
ready
like,
to
oh my
burn his
god, we're
ass
gonna
on the-
lose.
Yeah, everybody was ready to burn his ass on the stake. Yeah. It was.
But then
not
I'm like, but you got to think, you're like, okay, he just came from
a super competitive team.
yeah, a Super Bowl winning, Super Bowl winning team
As they did that
to
next season.
a rebuild,
Right.
basically, and
Right.
it's like, got to give him some time to adjust to that.
Right.
And he did. Obviously, last year proved it. He had probably one of the most impressive, second half of the season. He only threw 9 interceptions during the entire season, and that was all within the first 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, and where Detroit went 1-6, so and got most
Yeah,
of their
and
losses.
then they pulled their heads out of their ass and was like, "Hey, we're actually a decent team. Let's try this again."
Right.
And
So-
winning record and stuff. But a lot, their main problem last year was the defense just let shit go.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, you're scoring 35, 40 points a game, but
big issue.
But you're giving up just as many each game.
Yeah,
You can't
a
win
big
games like
issue
that.
was especially during the Bills game and the Panthers game. They for whatever reason, the Lions let Josh Allen and then Sam Darnold, of all quarterbacks, just absolutely fucking mop the floor with the defense. It was crazy.
Well, to be fair, the Bills are a good team, anyways.
The Bills are a very decent team.
Very decent. I'd say they're, at least the last few years, they are very good teams. They're one of those teams where they're one puzzle piece away from getting to the Super Bowl.
Right.
I know I just went on a thing 10 minutes ago how one player can't change the outcome of a game. They can't change the outcome of a game, I'd say, over winning or losing.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the Bills' defense is pretty good. The offense is pretty good. It's just either one more piece and maybe one defensive piece and one offensive piece, and they are going to be playing. They're probably already going to be playing lights out football, but they have a really good chance.
Oh yeah.
Of course, it also depends because they're in the AFC. What division? See, football. I can't do football.
AFC East, I think.
East, okay.
Let me see.
See, I can't.
Maybe.
See, that's what bugs me about football and the MLB is you have AL and NL teams, and you'll have the fucking Yankees are one, and then the Mets are the other one. It's like they're in the same freaking city. Why are they in different leagues? NHL and NBA, they got it down to a science. If you're east of this, you're in the Eastern Conference. If you're west of this, you're in the Western Conference. What a concept!
Well, it's just because it was just how.
I know it's because you had two separate leagues. You had the AFC,
Yeah, the American Football League.
I get it, but it's confusing as hell because I can't think of who's in the NFL or in the NFC and who's in the AFC by just looking at a map and be like, oh yeah, all the teams east of the Mississippi are the AFC, all the teams west of the Mississippi are the NFC. No,
right, you got the AFC here, NFC, AFC, NFC.
Well, the Mets and the Giants,
they
play in the same freaking stadium, but one's NFC and one's AFC. You play in the same goddamn stadium.
But yeah, the Bills are in the AFC East. Although I will say, every single year, the AFC will, like, I swear to God, mops the floor with the NFC
Yeah, the
every
AFC. The
year.
last few
Every
years, the
year.
AFC has been better than the NFC.
They are the supreme, well,
Right
you
now.
know, yeah.
Right now.
Like, a lot of people. So, another good thing that I've seen just as a Detroit Lions fan from the Detroit Lions is Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell absolutely, absolutely cooked during
Cooking.
the
Regular season last year.
uh not the regular season, in the off season,
Yeah.
with the
Oh.
draft,
Oh. Yeah.
free agency. Like, we picked up David Montgomery for the amount we wanted from Jamal Williams, but Jamal Williams was like, no, you know.
Yeah.
But the Detroit Lions, like, sorry, we had to pick somebody. We didn't
Right.
want nobody to take him.
Right. So last Lions thing, because I don't really want this centric around Detroit teams. My hot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make a hot take, and it's the last Lions thing right now. Hot take. The best thing, and this is gonna sound very morbid. The best thing to happen to the Lions franchise is uh, William William Clay Ford dying. And
Hell,
I only say that because when did the Lions go 0-16? 2008.
2008.
Who was running the team back then? Who was the owner of the team? William Clay Ford. Okay, the Lions have been pretty much trash, and William Clay Ford died what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and since
Yeah.
whatever it was, since then they have progressively been getting better. And I know his wife, the widower currently owns the team, but I think the kids have been more involved in the team.
Yeah,
And they're
Sheila
not-
Fordham.
Yeah, and they're not so much
Or whatever.
worried about just because I think William Clay Ford didn't care. And if someone can prove me wrong, prove me wrong. I'd love to be wrong on this, but I don't think he so much cared as having a successful team as long as it was a profitable team.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
you want a successful
That-
team, you
well,
go do
I
what
mean-
you go do what the Rams did 2 years ago and spend a freaking $1 billion on salary. I know it wasn't that much, but and goddamn it, you went and won the Super Bowl. Granted, the next year they were total dog shit, but you fulfilled your accomplishment. You won a Super Bowl. You
Well,
know?
that's what a lot of people were saying, was like, just sell the team.
Right.
Like,
Well,
when Matt
they-
Patricia and Bob Quinn were in there, they're like, just sell the team,
They
please.
once-
Like,
they-
we
they
know
want-
you guys.
the reason they wouldn't
don't
sell
care.
it is because the Ford family
Yeah,
only
they're too
bought
profitable.
they only bought it for like $10 million. The Lions franchise. And so if they sold the
That's
team,
absolutely wild.
the Lion, whenever, I mean, they bought this years ago. But if they sold the team now, the Lions are probably worth $2 billion. Wait, what did the Washington Commanders sell for? I mean, it's billion with
Oh,
a
they
B.
just recently did that, didn't
Yeah,
they?
it's billions of dollars. It's not hundreds. It's billions of dollars. NFL franchises are worth. So if you sell the Lions, which is probably at least a $1 billion franchise, and that's probably be on the conservative side.
$6 billion.
Is that what the Commanders sold for?
Yeah, 6.5.
Okay, so let's say
6.05.
let's say the Lions went up for sale right now. They'd probably sell for at least $5 billion minimum. $5 billion minimum. Think of the capital gains tax you would have to pay on that.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
crazy.
what they'll do is once the mom dies, so William's wife or whatever dies, then the family will inherit, the kids will inherit the team, and they'll pay a much lower tax on it.
Right.
For I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but then they could sell it. Well, they inherited the team at $5 billion of worth. Now, if they sell the team at $5 billion, there's no capital gains tax.
Right.
Because you're
right.
selling that, you inherited the team at $5 billion and you're selling it for $5 billion. So that's why they wouldn't sell it. That was just pure business sense, and I would totally do that too. Like, let's see, hold on to the team that's at least making us money, or sell the team and pay a ungodly amount of capital gains. Yeah, fuck that shit. We'll hold on to the team. that's just smart business sense. So,
Yeah.
but I think, but I know it sounds terrible, but ever since he passed away, the Lions have been doing better.
Oh yeah, definitely. I am gonna do this. It is 2 minutes before kickoff. I do want to give my prediction. It's gonna be 30-33 Lions.
And are
Lions
the
gonna
Lions
win.
going to win it with a game-ending touchdown or
Field goal. Come
okay,
on.
field goal? Okay, so you want to change it to 32-30 then?
No, 3 points is for a field goal. That's why
Right, but that means
30.
that Lions have been down by 1. So rather than tied,
No.
they'd be down by 1, so it'd be 32-30.
No, because they would get six touchdowns each,
Yes.
which is
Not necessarily.
7 times 5. Oh, it'd be 35 then. So it'd be 6 times 5.
Not necessarily. Dude, guaranteed someone's gonna be missing an extra point tonight. It happens every game. I don't
Someone is.
know.
But
I don't
I'm
know.
just
I don't
saying.
know
I'm just
what's
saying
going
that's my
on.
prediction.
I don't know what's
30
going
to
on.
33.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with kickers in the NFL, but they cannot make field goals to save their fucking lives anymore.
Well, who's the last one to do that? Matt Prater.
Yeah, we hire you to do this one job, and that's the only job you do. You ain't got to worry about getting hit. You ain't got to worry about.
Kind of do sometimes.
But it's not like you're an offensive line. You know, you're not an offensive lineman. You ain't got to worry about getting hit. You ain't got to worry about catching the ball or anything, because that's the holder's job to catch the ball and set it for you. All you got to worry about is just kicking the damn thing. Like, you have no pressure. Jesus. Anyways, so that's NFL, and I guess we're gonna. That ran a lot longer than I thought it was going to, so we're gonna move on to weird news that we've seen in the last few days. Some of this is older. I have no doubt people have already read this. Like, this one story was posted on August 29th, so that's a week and a half ago, call it. But I think this epitomizes everything that's going on in this city of Chicago. So, a Chicago TV news crew was robbed at gunpoint while reporting on a string of robberies. You can't make this shit up. This news crew...
Wait, this was a news crew?
This was a news crew, and they were reporting on a string of robberies that were going on in Chicago's Westtown neighborhood. It says it's for a Spanish language station. It doesn't say which station. But yeah, it says they were robbed at gunpoint, and the robbers mainly took personal items, and they also took a TV camera, which the TV camera they took was actually the one that recorded the robbery, so there's no footage of the robbery, because I don't know if they have recovered the stolen camera. But obviously the story never made it to air. Well, I wonder why. That's not hard.
because they got robbed.
Yeah, Jesus. Fucking A, man. I'm sorry. That just epitomizes. This is going on in Chicago right now. We're gonna go report on this person that has robbed a bank, and you show up there, and another MF walks in to rob the bank. It's like, oh, son of a bitch. Oh, so yeah. Speaking of irony, Dillon.
Oh, yeah. So, basically the same crime, except it happened to a council member in California. It says California thieves steal wallet and keys from council member while he was speaking to the public about crime. Damn.
Damn, man. That's bad. Stolen from his bike bag.
Yeah, Emeryville council member Kilima Pitt Preforce. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I butchered it, but that's alright. We don't care.
Found that his wallet and keys had been stolen from his bike bag after visiting with business owners in Emeryville on Monday.
So hold on.
And he's quoted as saying, "A lot of stores that can't afford private guards need panic buttons." It's like, maybe you needed a panic button, my guy. Holy crap.
Hold on. Okay. I feel bad for the guy, but this next statement he made. So, a lot of stores that can't afford private guards need panic buttons. A direct line to the police, so they don't actually have to pick up the phone and call the police dispatch. I'm pretty sure if it takes you more than, I don't know, 2 freaking seconds to dial 911, probably are not the spitting image of society. Come on, man.
Well, here's the thing. It may take you less time to dial 911,
Yeah.
But they actually, because of what happened 2 or 3 years ago, or longer than that, there was a Siri thing going around where if you said, "Hey Siri," and then you said a certain number, it would actually call the law enforcement for you.
Oh.
So a lot of people were playing pranks, and they're like, "Hey, say this," and then get Siri to do this, and then obviously, they call the cops. Well, now because of all that happened, they allow 5 seconds for you to hang up if it's a misdial or whatever have you.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So side story. So, this was, Jesus. This has to have been at least 10 years ago. Minimum 10 years ago. We used to have a landline at the house. course, this is when I
Everybody
was.
did, I think.
Yeah, this is probably when I was 10 or 12. Back when landlines were still a thing. We had a landline at the house. And so the rule was, for me and my brother, we get home from school, we'd always call our mom and just say, hey, we're home from school. And so I went to call my mom, and the first, so I do the area code, and then the first three numbers are for her phone are 915. Well, when I dialed it, I don't remember if I either hit one twice or the button stuck, and so it dialed one twice. And so then it went 911, and then of course if you do that, the phone automatically starts calling. If you do that. Well,
right.
I was like, oh, nope, that's wrong. Of course, me being 10, I don't know. So I hung up the phone so it would reset it, and then, went and called my mom, whatever that. Well, the rule was also, too, because...
yeah, all of a sudden you hear this.
Well, no, the rule also, too, was because when somebody would call the house on the landline, it'd pop up the number on... If the TV was on, it'd pop up the number on the TV, like, oh, this person's calling. This number, if it had, who was calling on the TV, because it was hooked up to the cable.
Yeah, yeah.
The rule was if someone calls and you don't recognize the number, don't answer the phone, because you don't know who's calling.
Private number.
So, well, no, it was the county, because obviously, and we call 911 when it goes to the county dispatch. The county called the house because they got a 911 hang-up call, and it doesn't come through as a private number. It actually comes through as a regular number, but it doesn't say 911 dispatch or anything like that. It just says I don't even know what it says. What it said. But obviously we did answer the phone because we don't know who the hell's calling. So, we go on, continue on watching frickin' SpongeBob or whatever the hell we were watching. Well, so the county then dispatched a sheriff to the house. It wasn't like it was like a high call. It wasn't like it was a high priority call.
Right.
Like
yeah.
That. It was just the officers would come by, make sure everything was okay. And then go on. Well, as he was pulling into my mom, either my mom or my dad, I don't remember, was turning onto our street, and a cop pulled in behind her, pulled onto the street, and she's like, oh, at that time, there was a police officer who lived in the neighborhood. She didn't think anything of it. Goes on, turns into the driveway, and he turns into our driveway too. She's like, okay, what the hell is going on?
Right.
So by chance, she happened to get home when the police officer got there, and so then, then we got it all figured out. Oh yeah, I meant to call my mom, accidentally did 911, hung up, and then, when they called, we didn't recognize the number, so we didn't answer it. Well, okay, so the officer's like, oh, okay, yeah, blah, 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 no big deal, leaves. 2 weeks later, my dad goes to call my mom. Same thing happens. Dials 911, hangs up the phone to reset it, and then calls her. And I don't remember if he answered it when the county called again, or if another police officer showed up, but so my dad, he's like, all right, that's it. He took the phone, ripped it off the wall, and threw it right in the trash. There, problem solved. It's like, Jesus.
Damn, man. All right.
All right. So, but, yeah, it's like, he turned that shit up to 11. It's like, good Lord. Oh. So.
Just straight ripped it off the wall. Like, nah, we're not doing this anymore.
We're done with this shit. Oh. And then we probably only had the landline for another few years, and then now we don't even have cable. We have YouTube TV, which is cable, but not traditional style of cable. It's streaming cable, so we don't even have a landline anymore. All we do is just get internet. That's it. That's it. We got bomb ass internet. Thank you, internet provider. You don't sponsor us, so I'm not going to name you. If you want me to, you can gladly give us money. So, speaking of police, this one was posted a little over a week ago. Police stopped a Nebraska man for bucking the law with a bull riding shotgun in his car.
That's absolutely great.
This is so ridiculous that words cannot do this justice. You'd have to go look it up yourself. This guy driving in what looks like a Ford Escort or something has a full-size freaking cow in his passenger seat, and he's got
I'm gonna watch the video right now.
And he's got bull bars on the side on the passenger door, and it looks like he's taking out the windshield. I don't even know how, and this car is obviously leaning to the right because of all the freaking weight. Oh my god, it was.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Dude, the fucking horns on this thing is
I know!
almost as big as the car, dude. Holy
Jesus.
shit.
Yeah, that's what it almost looks fake. It almost
Dude,
looks fake.
They put a fucking gate door on there.
I know. I was saying, you put a gate
Gotta
down on
hold
the
'em
side. Oh my god. That I'm sorry, but that is hilarious.
That is great.
The guy was driving from his home in Nailey, Nebraska to Norfolk, Nebraska, which is about 36 miles.
That's
oh
crazy.
my god, that's hilarious. Mm. I guess it's
That is hilarious. Hold on. Did you read like a little bit of the article?
I'm going through it right now.
A car driving with a bull in it was pulled over by police in northeast Nebraska's biggest city. And he goes, "Don't worry, he didn't steer."
Yeah, that's very, very funny, Mr. Josh Funk. God, yeah. I guess this is even the first time it's happened. The cow's name is Howdy Doody. And there's videos online from it happening in 2017 and 2019. This isn't even the first time it's happened. You gotta love rednecks. You gotta love rednecks. The officer let him off with a warning, as long as he turned around and took the massive steer home.
Hang on. Okay, I don't know if you know this, but like everybody debates like if you're a nerd, which I am, but like about comics, they're always like, oh, if you give Batman enough time to prep, he could beat anybody or whatever.
Sure.
That's like give a redneck a task, give him enough time to prep for it, and he'll do it.
That's right.
In his own way.
Yes. And the best part is you don't even need to give it a lot of time. It's not like you gotta give him, you have 3
You're like,
months.
shoot, man, I got this.
He's like, 3 months? Shit, I could do 2.5 months of drinking beer, and then actually 2 weeks worth of work.
Or you gotta like challenge him and get him to say, hold my beer.
Yeah.
And then he'll do anything. Anything.
This sounds like something that started as a dare. Like one of his buddies, like, they're sitting around
I bet
drinking.
you can't drive your car around, you stupid fuck.
Yeah, I bet you can't
hold my beer.
I'll bet you a 30-pack of Paps that you can't put a cow in your car and drive it around town. I'll show this son of a bitch.
Yeah, 3 months.
Okay, next day rolls up to his buddy's house, laying on the horn. Check this out, bitch! And the dude's in the freaking car with the cow. It's like, holy hell!
Oh my god!
Yeah, you hit the horn, it just zaps the cow to make him moo.
Oh shoot!
Oh yeah, like I didn't even notice that. This is even the first time it's happened. It's happened 2 times prior, at least 2 times prior.
Dude, I just can't believe the size of them horns.
I know,
dude.
Those are ridiculous.
Like
I said, it almost looks fake.
Kind of like a side thing. It has something to do with cow horns, but so I watched this YouTube channel because I'm getting into like bushcraft stuff because I want to try it.
Mm-hmm.
Which bushcraft is just basically like camping without all your necessities and stuff. Right. Like obviously you bring food and stuff,
right,
and a tarp, but that's it. Like that's pretty much it. Enough to start a fire, whatever. Well, he does camping videos and like bushcraft related. While he was setting up like camp, and he was getting ready to drink like some tea or whatever.
Yeah.
But he pulls out this mug and he made it from a cow's horn. I'm like, dude, what cow has that big of a fucking horn?
This motherfucker's dad. That's
yeah, and I'm just like, oh yeah, now I see what he's talking about. Like, jeez, dude.
Dude, I think you could fit a small child inside those horns. I mean,
that's funny.
That's ridiculous.
Fit a small child in there.
Yeah. Like I said, the best story is this isn't even the first time it's happened. That's
crazy.
You gotta love. That's why, like I said, you gotta love rednecks. That's why I love going to NASCAR races, because if you go to a NASCAR race like in like the Bristol Night Race or hell even the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte, dude, you see the freaking crazies that come out of the woodwork, dude. It is fantastic just to people watch. The people that come and go from a NASCAR race, it is entertainment all alone right there. You could just sit outside, don't even buy a ticket, and just watch the people watching, and you're like, oh yeah. It's great. Love the people watching a NASCAR race. Speaking of things not happening once.
Speaking of big things.
Yeah.
So I guess giant African snail sighting forces Florida county into quarantine, which is kind of crazy. But the even crazier part about it is that this has happened before, which is a little weird because it's like I mean, these slugs are fucking massive.
Yeah, these are not small.
What is it? It's an invasive snail species.
Yeah, I would figure that. So they have a picture here. It looks like a scientist or something is holding a slug, and it's basically the size of their hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... Oh my god, that's... Think about you walk outside, right? You go to get the paper or go get the mail in your mailbox. You're like, oh man, freaking neighbor's dog took a shit in my yard. You go get a shovel to pick it up. Like, holy shit, that's not dog shit. It's moving.
No, you go back out there. It's like, where'd it go?
Where'd it go? Oh, I guess the dog ate it. Picked it up himself. Yeah, go back in the house. Not a problem. Go back in the house. It's on your back. How the hell did it get there?
So I'm just reading like a little bit, and it's just they're very destructive. So I'm guessing they have either a very potent like slime, snail trail or whatever that kills, or they just eat vegetation and appetite.
A small child. Hide your kids, hide your wife. No. It says here that...
Well, that's like what, the lanternfly now? The Chinese lanternfly, I think it's called?
Yeah.
There's been an issue with those little fuckers.
Yeah. Well, it says here the snails captured so far are removed from 29 different properties, primarily located in one section of Newport Richey, Florida, which I believe is on the... I want to say that's on the Gulf side, but don't slay me if I'm wrong. I'm going to look it up right now. All right. Newport Richey, Florida. Hey, I was right. It's on the Gulf side. Yeah. Okay, so it's like north of Clearwater, Florida, which is outside of Tampa, Florida. So that's where that's at.
Oh, ew! Man, that's weird.
Yeah, it's not
because I'm just not only is it are they like very invasive towards plants or very destructive towards them. Sorry, I mean they are invasive, but they quote here, they also present serious health risks to humans as the snails carry a parasite called rat lungworm
fun.
That can cause meningitis, unquote.
Unquote. Sweet. Okay, so at the very end of the article it says Florida's agricultural department has recorded not one but two instances where the snail was fully eradicated. Obviously it wasn't. The most
Bro singing Slim Shady's back.
Yeah, right, roll it up. Yeah, the most recent was just last year, a decade after one of the giant snails was initially spotted in Miami-Dade County. So, the last time this happened, it took them a decade to eradicate it. Officials say a live snail was last found in that area, Miami-Dade County, I would assume. No, in the Port New Richey area, excuse me, in 2017, prior to the most recent sighting last week. So, either they aren't fully being eradicated, or some bastard's like, they've ruined my experiment. I must repopulate. I must repopulate and release them to the environment to do death and destruction because,
Well,
I hate trimming bushes or something. I don't know.
It's just like by the way, I've always wanted to bring this up because this is a great podcast. If you don't listen, I'm a huge history buff. I love learning anything about history. But I listen to this podcast called History Daily, and obviously every day something... Their intro's like, every day, history happens.
Yeah.
Well, they were talking about, smallpox, and how they fully eradicated it once. Well, then everybody about shit themselves because someone in a lab was doing smallpox studies, and they ended up catching it, and then they left. Then they were like, what you doing there, bud?
Was this possibly done in Wuhan?
Wuhan? No.
Because, if it did, this wouldn't be the first time.
No, this happened, I think, if I think it was the Southern Americas somewhere in there. I think that they did this.
Yeah.
They had that's where they like finally had like the last cases. That's where they went
Well,
in
obviously, if
Brazil
you
or whatever.
yeah, if you have a you know a I wouldn't say, I guess a village out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, they're not gonna be going to their doctor like, oh, I'm here to get my flu vaccine and my smallpox. No, they're like,
Right.
you need to go see doctor. You put some dirt on it, rub it, walk it off. You're fine. You know.
Well, like it's crazy because um uh like one of the first vaccines for smallpox was actually using a thing called cowpox, which
Yeah, I've heard of
obviously
that.
farmers and stuff would get it for would get that,
Yeah.
but they would take so they'd have someone infected with cowpox, they would pop a blister on them, uh and then obviously they have the pus sitting there. They would go to the other person, do like two little small cuts or whatever, and then take the pus and then rub it on there. They get infected, of course. But then every time, um, and then to test it, they would actually take that person infected with cowpox after they've, obviously got over it. They would take someone with smallpox, and obviously it's an airborne disease because you don't have to touch anybody with,
Correct.
without, you know. So they would get it, but the thing with smallpox was it was just very deadly. If you got it, it was just like the plague. If you got it, you're dead. Sorry, Billy, you're dead.
Yeah. Do you have your
So
affairs in order, Billy? My what?
you got three. Three what? Three to
Two.
live. What? What?
Two.
Two. Yeah,
Yeah,
one.
oh shit.
But
No.
so after they did this, like they tried the vaccine, they would actually, um, it would be a very mild case of smallpox instead of, them
Right.
basically fucking dying.
Right.
So that was just interesting. Yeah, I just wanted to bring, and it was a shameless plug. I like that podcast. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it. It's called History Daily by uh let me look it up. It's not on my podcast. I actually have Amazon.
Of course, do that after you finish listening to this one. Don't go to it now.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, it's just called History Daily. It'll have JFK on the front, and the Queen, of course.
Yes, yes, because us
R.I.P.
Americans care about the Queen. Um, so that is our little segment on weird news.
Weird news.
So now we're gonna go to everyone's
Slugs,
favorite...
bulls,
Yeah.
and people robbing other people
While
in
they
an
are
attempt
currently
of
talking,
irony.
currently talking about the crime in said area. Irony at its best. Anyways, now we're gonna move on to Reddit. Now Reddit has a plethora of stuff. I mean, probably what Reddit is most known for is the... Well, I guess it depends on what you think Reddit's known for. I know Reddit, like a lot of sport leagues will have a Reddit account, a community on Reddit, like the NFL, the NASCAR Reddit. I'm pretty sure the NHL has one. A lot of places have it, and it's where people can go and post their opinion on this, that, or whatever. Well,
Yeah.
Another popular thing on Reddit is "Am I the asshole?" Where if you
Don't forget the dark side of Reddit either.
well, I'm trying to be nice.
Oh
Yeah,
no, I'm talking about like.
That's probably what Reddit is most known for. Is
let's see some murders, shall we?
Yeah, Reddit
Yeah.
definitely has
special side.
yes,
Let's just say.
yeah, yes. But we're not going to that. We're going into what am I the asshole? Now, what it is somebody will post something on Reddit about something that is going on, and they'll ask, "Am I an asshole, or is the person that is having an issue with what I'm doing the asshole?" And people will go in and put their opinions on if they're the asshole or not. So this first one is, am I the asshole for insisting my son cook dinner once a week? So this mother, she writes, I, 43, female, have two sons, Adam and James. Adam's 17, James is 15. Adam has shown an interest in cooking from a young age and is quite good at it, she says. He makes dinner for the family 2 to 3 times a week because he enjoys it and gives him an opportunity to try new recipes. I generally cook the rest of the time unless it's summer. My husband insists on grilling every day because that's what we do as men. Now that we're men,
we grab our underwear.
Yeah, we change our underwear.
Please don't copyright us, Nickelodeon. We just love SpongeBob.
That's right. James, who is the youngest one, is 15, was not particularly interested in learning to cook. Uh, she did try to teach him. I'm sorry, I'll just read it as if she was typing it. I did try to teach him the kitchen basics, and he can make himself a sandwich and simple things. But he'd rather grab an apple than make himself an actual meal or a true snack. A few months back, James began asking Adam in the afternoons to make him a snack, sometimes homemade, and sometimes he'll do it if he's in the mood, but more often than not, he's bothered by the daily requests. I sure as shit would too. Especially since James was 15. Now, if James was 5, different story. He's 15. Anyways, I felt this was a sign I had dropped the ball, so I decided that James would take over making the family dinner once a week. It didn't have to be fancy, but it had to be at least somewhat balanced and filling. For example, yesterday he made grilled cheese sandwiches, a salad and tomato soup with a side of cut strawberries. Very simple but good meal. That's not bad. Packaged soups and things are fine as long as that's not all. Yeah, I keep like, all right, here's some Campbell's Chunky. Here you go. Like, oh yeah, you put that in the microwave for a minute and a half. You did a good job. Yeah, gold star. No, I help him with the meal planning, and then I would work at the dinner table nearby in case he needed help. He hasn't enjoyed this, but I still kept on it because it's really important life skill. Feeding yourself isn't optional. Well, he's been complaining to my mother, his grandmother, and she's been calling me to tell me I've let a punishment go on too long. But it's not meant to be that. It's a life skill training, and I was very clear with James that this was a permanent change, not a temporary punishment. But she made me feel like an absolute terrible mother, forcing unpleasant chores on my children. I tried to point out that my own brother is a grown man that lives on takeout because she never taught him to cook and didn't want that to be James one day. She hung up on me. Well, yeah, it tends to happen when people have to face the facts. My husband is in full support of our new routine, but still, nothing takes you down a peg like being yelled at by your mother, so I'm looking for some more other opinions. Is it really that bad?
Sounds like your mother's the asshole.
Sounds like your mother's
a dude. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a dickweed. Jesus. Well, the first thing...
I don't think she's an asshole
and
for making her
that's
son
what a lot of people say in the comments is not the asshole. I personally think... Obviously, I don't have any kids. I personally think this is something that... Yes, you need to learn how to do. There is a difference between making a box of Kraft mac and cheese. Not that there's anything wrong with the box of Kraft mac and cheese. I love Kraft mac and cheese. But it's very simple to make. Pasta, you boil it, you put in some milk, you put in the cheese packet and some butter, you mix it up, boom. You got Kraft mac and cheese from a family of 4, and apparently I'm a family of 4. But there's that to actually making something... like out of a recipe. Now, you don't need to make something out of like a recipe book every night of the week. But once a week, come on. Put a little effort into something. You can't live off of takeout like this person's brother is. And I think this all extends back to the mother. Because the mom said this to her mother, the grandmother, about how her brother, the mom's brother, lives on takeout. And then the mom immediately hung up. Which means that obviously struck a nerve with the mom that the grandmother in this case, dropped the ball on teaching the kid basic things. You cannot live off of just sandwiches and stuff. One thing that I really like, over-the-road truck driver, so I have a fridge with me and a microwave, so I'm not eating out of truck stops. I will pre-make meals at the beginning of the week, dinners, and then put them in my fridge and warm them up in the microwave.
Yeah, like, I know a lot of people, like, even if, like, I know a lot of people who like diet. Like my coworker, he goes to the gym, but he also loves to meal prep just because it's easier. You only have to do it once a week, and then you have food for the rest of the week. You just freeze it, whatever.
Yeah.
You eat it, do what you want.
And now, like certain things, obviously, you can't make sandwiches at the beginning of the week because if you put them in the fridge for more than a couple days, they're gonna get soggy. Unless you just put meat and cheese on them, and then you pre-make them with just meat and cheese, no like mayonnaise, no mustard, none of that. And then you go to work with them, and then you put mayonnaise and mustard on them, or whatever. Because if not, they'll just get soggy. That's different. But actually putting a little effort into something, and it's like I said, it's not like you need to make a 5-course dinner every night.
Right? Yeah. It's just like.
But you can't also make a box of Kraft mac and cheese 7 days every week. You can't do that.
Right.
You got to put a little effort into
Absolutely
something.
Not.
And not, we put some sausage in it. No, you dumb son of a bitch. No, actually, making something that's a true meal.
A great example would be, like, my family-ish type situation. Like I showed an interest in cooking first, and my mom was like, "All right, cool. I'll let do what you want. If you want to come out in the kitchen, watch, whoever's cooking, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
do it. Good on you."
Mm-hmm.
First ever meal I ever made was by myself. I think I was 11 years old. I made obviously I couldn't reach the stove like all the way yet, so I did have to have a little bit of help there,
Yeah.
but I made baked pork chops, shake and bake, au gratin potatoes, and then a veggie.
Hmm.
Very simple, very like easy to do.
Yeah.
I just had to throw them in, set a timer, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
Now, like and then my sister, I let me finish this thought. My sister, then when we were older, and because she has autism, it's a little harder for her, but she does love to bake. So she'll bake like brownies, like she'll bake sweet treats and stuff like that. And uh and now she's starting to get into more of like she loves cooking mac and cheese. That's really easy for her to do. Um or my mom will be like, "Hey, can you brown this burger for me?" She'll do it, So I think everybody should at least, have those basic skills. Like,
Yes. Yes.
and I'm not dogging on my sister, but for this person, if my autistic sister could do it, I think he's more than capable of doing it. He's just being lazy.
This is just lazy, and I think this kind of falls a little bit on the mom, in that
Yes.
you waited until he was 15. That's too late. That's something you
Yeah.
should probably do at when he's preteen, 10, 11, 12, right in that age, because he's not quite
Yeah.
he's not quite
11,
teenager
12,
free
you should be
thinking. Correct.
like
at least
11
have him
or
come
12.
in. He doesn't have to go in there and make dinner.
Right,
Bring
right.
him in the kitchen and show him how to even make a box of Kraft mac and cheese, or even just make something simple like scrambled eggs in the morning with maybe sausage or something. How to cook maybe tacos. Tacos is easy to do. You put meat in there, you brown it, drain grease if you didn't get extra lean, put in a packet with some water, let it simmer down, and then boom, you got tacos.
Like 11, 12 is like right around the time where me and my sister were getting left home alone.
Yes. Yeah.
My mom wants to go do stuff, whatever. My mom has to go shopping, whatever. She doesn't
Right.
want to take us along. You guys can stay home. But she also made sure, hey, if you get hungry or I'm not back by, the time I usually get dinner started, here's how you make this.
Right.
And then, showed us how to actually
right.
do
You may
it.
have to fend for yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it was for us. Both my mom and dad worked. I mean, so we'd come home from school. Now, when we came home from school, my brother would usually get home at 3, and I'd get home at 4, because when we moved out to where we live now, he started in 6th grade, so middle school. I started in 1st grade. So I started an hour later, and I got home an hour later than him. So, but I mean, he'd get home at 3, I'd get home at 4, but from 4 o'clock until usually my mom came home first at 5:30, we're by ourselves. So if we wanted a snack, if there wasn't anything easy in the cupboard, yeah, you would have to do something. Even if it was something as simple as just popping something in the microwave. But you can't just, it's not like I told my brother, hey, I'm only, in 1st grade, I'm only 7, put something in the microwave for me. No, I had to do that myself. And we have our microwave above the stove. And so I would have to get up on the counter. Here's a little story. I had to get up on the counter to reach the microwave, to open it up, pop it in, and whatever we're doing, we were popping there even if it was like a lean cuisine, frozen lunch thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, one time I hopped up on the counter, put the stuff in the microwave, started the microwave, walked away. Well, either when I hopped up on the counter or when I was climbing down, I accidentally hit the knob on the stove for one of the burners, and not to the point where it would start lighting, but enough to where it opened the gas to the burner. And so the stove started leaking natural gas. So, I go back and lay down, watch TV or continue on. Now, my dad came home first that day, and I don't know how long the stove was on. But he came home and he's like, why does it smell like natural gas in here? And my brother's like, Colt probably farted or something. Little asshole he is. So, he's like, my dad's like, no, this smells like natural gas, because if you don't have natural gas stoves, or anything natural gas in your house, what they do is natural gas is odorless. So what they do is they'll put sulfur in it, and what sulfur will do is it'll make it smell like rotten eggs, and that's how you know if you have a gas leak or that you've let the eggs sit out too long. So anyway, he goes over to the stove and sees, and is like, no, like, oh shit, the stove is leaking natural gas. So he turns off the burner, right, to stop it leaking gas, and he opens up the kitchen window to help air it out, right. Well, this was like not quite wintertime, but it was fall, so it was cooler out, and so the furnace, so the furnace was on. Well, he goes back over to the thing, and he hears the furnace kick on, and his thing is like, oh shit. So he quick runs over to the thermostat to shut the furnace off, because now you got open flame from the furnace, and there's a return vent in the living room, which is next to the kitchen, for air to go back down into the furnace. Yeah, exactly. It'd be looking like that house in Pittsburgh that went skibbity-bop, da-da into the air, right? But yeah, so now, even to this day, if I go over and put something in the microwave, I'll go over and I'll turn all the knobs just instinctively to the right to make sure they're all the way off. I still do that to this day on the stove. Ever since then, I still do. Yeah, I still do that. Even though if I know I didn't hit it, I'll still do it. Ever since that, it's just one of those things. But yeah. Yeah. Anyways, back to Am I the Asshole? Mom is not the asshole. The kid's a little shit.
Honestly, yeah, like, and you're right in the fact that
she could have helped her situation out.
Yeah, it's not all on the kid. Right. There are definitely like certain times and stuff like that.
Yeah, she didn't drop the ball, started. But she did let it slip from her grasp. But she at least re-caught it before it hit the ground. Yeah, because I think she could have started that a little sooner.
Like, you know what's even crazier? To think about, like, if, like, if he's a little shit with cooking, imagine what he's like with every other thing he has to do by himself. Yeah. Laundry, taking care of himself. Does he have to get reminded to fucking take a shower? It's like, God.
Yeah, so obviously that's just one thing, but that'd be also nice to know is what other things is the kid a pain in the ass about. So yeah. Speaking of kids, this next one is to start things off. I'm a 29-year-old male, and 3 of my friends booked us a weekend trip Friday through Sunday a few weeks ago. It's my first time off since the beginning of May, and this was posted beginning of September. So it's been a while since this guy's truly had time off. We planned to party at night and chill at the pool by day. I also told my brother, 43, and my sister-in-law, 39, a few weeks ago that I was really excited to stay in the specific hotel since it is on the pricier end. Yesterday, my brother contacted me that they will be staying in the same hotel with my niece, 4, at the same time as me. I'll finish first. In the message, he wrote me that they are also really excited that I can help with my niece since I am also there and they can relax in the meantime. According to them, I have nothing better to do. Don't get me wrong, I love my niece to pieces, but I really want to enjoy this weekend and not have any responsibility for anyone besides myself. I want to relax, be drunk, and have fun with my friends. They are staying in the same hotel, so I can't avoid them even if I wanted to. Yeah. The vacation is non-refundable.
You absolutely can.
You could. The vacation is non-refundable. I'm either stuck with babysitting. Her parents are really pushy, and I'm at the sister-in-law parents are really pushy, and I am the worst at setting boundaries. Or my family will think I hate my niece, and I am frustrated as fuck. So am I the asshole if I tell them I don't want to spend time with them? I say no. No. It's not your responsibility to watch someone else's kid.
It's also like, going back to the boundaries thing, I actually was telling my coworker about this. In any relationship you have, girlfriend, family, friends, whatever, if you set a boundary and they don't respect that, you need to recheck that relationship. Yes. Like, just like do an overhaul and be like, why aren't you respecting my boundaries? Correct. But yeah, going back to the dude, he is or female, I don't know who it is. They are not the asshole. Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yeah, no. This guy's not the asshole. But
it's not your responsibility.
It's not your responsibility to watch someone else's kid. It's not like you are. It's from what it sounds like. this trip was booked for this guy who wrote this first, before the brother and sister-in-law did it. Booked their trip. It happened to be at the same hotel. So
Right.
it's like, it wasn't like he was it's not like it's the other way around, where the brother and sister-in-law up to this guy decided to have a long weekend, get away from the kid, their kid or whatever, not to sound poignant or anything, get away, just get away and like relax, right, for a long weekend. And the brother who wrote this article was going to babysit his niece. And then the guy's like, oh, nope, now I'm going to go on vacation too. So you guys no, if that's the case, if it was the other way around, this guy would be an asshole. Like, you already promised you're going to babysit.
My question is, if the parents said, oh, we can spend time with each other and stuff, why didn't they just hire a babysitter?
Yeah, why can't,
or
also,
ask somebody else in their family?
I'd have other questions to this. It still wouldn't change my answer, but I'd have other questions to this. Of why can't the grandparents watch her?
Yeah, exactly. Why does it have to be the uncle?
Right. Who happens to be in the same hotel on vacation? Yeah, I don't really. So now, like I said, I would like to know more. Like, maybe the grandparents, they could live in different states. If that's the case, that makes sense. But regardless, it's still not this guy. He's not the asshole. The brother and the sister-in-law are the assholes here. That they are not planning. That's just piss poor planning. They're definitely assholes.
Right, and then especially taking their kid along. Like, that's now it's your responsibility, not anybody else's. You brought your kid along. You take care of him.
Yeah. So exactly, it's your kid, your responsibility. It's like having a dog. It's not the neighbor's job to feed the dog, clean up the dog shit, take the dog out, play with the dog. It's your responsibility, your dog. Like that. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Speaking of, they only had one job to do. No, I'm playing.
Hey,
we're going to fact time.
We have one job. You had one job coming up. Now we got Dillon's weird facts of the week.
Well, it's not weird. It's just random.
Random facts of the week.
Just random facts,
Random facts. Random facts.
I didn't think this one was. I didn't think this was powerful enough on its own, so we got two facts. Fact number one is a shrimp's heart is in their head.
Really?
Weird. Yeah, didn't know that. I didn't know that personally.
So you're saying once I eat a shrimp, he's a heartless bastard?
Yeah, actually, yeah. And then the second one. Now, listen to what I say. The fastest gust of wind, not hurricane winds, not tornado.
Not sustained wind, but gust of wind.
Yeah. Fastest gust of wind ever recorded was 253 miles per hour.
Wait, let me guess. I know where it's at.
Oh, I don't know where it was.
I better know where it's at. You look it up, and I will tell you where it's at. I think this place is in New Hampshire, but it's Mount Washington, and I believe it's New Hampshire. Either New Hampshire or Vermont, but I want to say it's New Hampshire. Mount Washington, because it's not like very tall. I think it's only like 4,000 or 5,000 feet.
Oh, that's lame.
What?
I looked it up, and it was during a tropical cyclone. So it was during a tropical storm, but it was just a gust of wind.
Where was it at?
Australia. Not even close. It was in Australia. Oh yeah, I was in Washington. No.
That's bogus.
No, but like I just thought it was funny because I was thinking about it. I'm like, could you imagine going outside, mind your own business, like, oh, there's just storm coming.
Okay.
And then a gust of wind just happens and you're gone. Like you just got lifted up or right. You're like, oh, what the fuck was that?
Yeah. Okay, so I was right about Mount Washington. Mount Washington has had a gust of wind recorded in 1934 at 231 miles an hour. In 1934.
This happened in 1996.
Yeah. So I was right. Mount Washington is in New Hampshire. Like I said, it's not like it's a tall mountain, but if I'm not mistaken, where it's at, the geography around it is that it's basically in like a wind tunnel. Is that it's got very high, it's like got a mountain range around it, like a valley, and it's just like a freaking wind tunnel and speeds stuff up. Okay, so Mount Washington is the highest peak in the northeastern U.S. Okay, it is actually almost 6,300 feet tall. So I knew it wasn't like tall, but it was taller than I thought. So yeah, it's like holy hell. But yeah, think of that, dude. You're just minding your own, saying you're like, oh, that storm's coming in. I hope I can finish cutting the grass before the storm comes in, and then holy shit. How did I end up at Bill's?
Then you're off for the day.
Yeah, how did
from your regular clothes to your birthday suit.
Yeah, right. How did I end up at Bill's? What the hell?
Jimmy, how the hell are you? Yeah. I just got blown by some wind.
No, it's like that video of that guy who was at like the convenience store or whatever, and the dude falls through the roof, and he's laying there. He's like, "Hey, Bill. Hey, Dave. Hey, Billy."
honestly, it's funny. God. Here I didn't put this fact down because I heard it today, but it was on that History Daily podcast. I just quick touch it real quick. Happened in the 1800s. A slave that was he wasn't a slave. He was just a black man. He was living in the north somewhere. I can't remember exactly where, but he got tricked into going to New York. He went to New York, earned money for something, and then tricked again to go to Washington, D.C. Well, these two people that tricked him were kidnappers to find like black people to sell to slavery and stuff. Mm-hmm. And they trick them. They get them to the slave, plantation. First, gets sold. They change his name and all that stuff, so nobody would know who he was. First plantation he goes to, dude was super cool to him. Not super cool for owning a slave, but goes to the next one, and the dude's a ruthless bastard.
Yeah.
Like whipping him for no reason. Well, this dude absolutely put a smile on my face. This dude was like, hell nah. Grabbed the whip from this guy and started beating him with it. He was like, hell no, boy. Get over here. Like, holy shit. Hell yeah. You go, dude.
Yeah, that's right.
And the dude that he bought this guy from, he was going to kill him. Like, because obviously, 1800s, pissed,
Right.
Because, a slave just beat the shit out of you.
Right.
And the guy was like, the plantation owner came out and was like, hey, bud, you still owe this guy $400 for buying this guy. So you ain't going to do diddly shit to him. So then he ended up selling him to a different guy. Anyways, long story short, the dude ended up, just beating that guy's ass. Pretty dope. And then he ended up being free.
Nice.
So, very happy ending to it.
Yeah.
So.
That is some wild shit.
That is, yeah.
That's like, you had one job of paying for a service or a good, I don't know what you would label it, paying somebody for receiving a slave and then not doing it. You had one job, was just paying them. Speaking of having one job, back to Reddit. So Reddit also has another subcategory of, it was changed to just one job. That's what it's called. Okay, and we've picked out a couple. We had some more, but we're running a little long on this. We trimmed it down to 2. These are the 2 best ones we could find. So this first one is take it away, Dillon.
This guy was apparently told to cut these bagels in half, and
okay, well, hold on.
Well,
let me ask you, Dillon, how do you normally cut a bagel in half?
Well, obviously you cut it the long way,
right?
Which means long ways you would have two slices.
Right, you lay it flat, and then you cut it.
Yeah, you cut it like that.
Cut it horizontally.
Yeah, horizontally. So you have 2 slices of a bagel.
Right,
not just
and they would fit in a thing called what's that called?
Vertically.
Yeah, what's that thing that called
vertically.
Warms up bread? A fucking
toaster. Yeah, my guy. I mean. He wasn't wrong in cutting them in half, but he did it wrong.
Yeah, it's like, you're not wrong, but you're
wrong.
But you're wrong.
Cut
Yeah,
them vertically so nobody can toast them. Everybody has to deal with two halves of a whole bagel
yeah.
instead
So
of
it's like
slices of
if
a
you like
bagel.
ripped it. It's like if you ripped a donut in half, basically.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. It's like
Yeah.
Jesus, dude. That's somebody who obviously was never taught by the mother how to cook in the kitchen. Maybe it's that same asshole. All right, so the second one is this restaurant has, on their menu they have a cheeseburger, $12.99, grass-fed beef burger with American cheese and a Kaiser bun. Um, okay, $12.99, whatever. Well, then below it they have hamburger, $10.99, grass-fed beef burger with American cheese and a Kaiser bun. Now wait a minute, back up the fucking trolley. You just told me that a grass-fed beef burger with American cheese on a Kaiser bun is considered a cheeseburger, and that's $12.99. But a hamburger is a grass-fed beef burger with American cheese on a Kaiser bun. That's a hamburger. That's $2 cheaper. I think someone screwed up.
Someone messed up.
Someone got a little happy with the copy and paste feature on their computer. And we're like, oh shit, we gotta get the menus out. Alright, just Control C, Control V. Alright, everything's good. Print it!
Go, go, go!
Yeah. Go get your printer!
Go get your printer! Go, Chris Hansen, I choose you!
Yeah. So, that sometimes some people. So,
some people's kids.
Right. So we're going to finish off this show with this last segment. It's a debate topic. So we've found a topic, and we're gonna try and to avoid politics and religion because those two are not at all controversial in any way. So we're gonna try and not touch those with the 30-foot pole. But this first one is kind of going back to that first or that second Reddit one about "Am I the asshole?"
Yeah, about the.
I'm sorry, actually the first one.
Kid.
15-year-old kid. This one is about at what age should you give your kids their first cell phone? Now, when I hear that, cell phone or smartphone. Now, there's a difference between cell phone and smartphone. Now, my first phone was a track phone that my parents gave me, and all it could do was
mine was a flip phone.
Yeah, that's what it was. All I could do was call, and that was for like if I wanted, to go somewhere, just so they could get a hold of me.
Yeah,
and I had that probably when I was 9 or 10, right around there. I'm not quite sure. I didn't get my first smartphone, i.e., my first smartphone was an iPhone 4. It was my brother's old iPhone 4, and I think I got that when I was 11 or 12. I think. I can't remember, but it was right around in that time frame. So the question is when should you give your kids their first... Now I'm going to go with smartphone, not cell phone, smartphone, now that we've determined the difference between smartphone and cell phone.
So this article from the Washington Post, thank you, by the way. Mm-hmm. I just, thank you for all the people that we quoted today on the podcast. But
not to hell with them.
They your children could be ready for a smartphone or similar device anywhere from 10 to 14 or during middle school.
Okay, that's about right.
Now,
I'd say.
I have an issue with that. Smartphone, no.
Well,
I'm talking like phone. You want a smartphone? You're getting you want a smartphone? You're getting a fucking track phone that's like touchscreen. That's it.
Right.
Good luck.
So
prepaid.
At what point would you give them a smartphone?
I would say
when they move out of the fucking house.
No, so how I did it was, so I got a flip phone was my very first phone because my mom, same kind of rule. Call me, if you want to go somewhere, let me know.
Right.
Whatever. If you need to get a hold of me.
Right.
And then my mom was like, "You're not gonna use that to call your friends until you get your own phone, whatever."
Right. Well, because you probably had minutes on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well then. Track phones started coming out with like more smartphone devices type things. I mean, they were really shitty. And I think I was 7th or 8th grade. 8th grade.
So that'd be about 12 or 13.
Yeah, 8th grade ish. Yeah, somewhere around there. That's when I got my first shitty smartphone.
But true smartphone like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
See,
But
I think that's about how old. No, you know what? I think I might have gotten a smartphone before 8th grade. I think I might have
but
got it in
then
like 6th grade. I might have gotten I might have gotten it 5th or 6th grade.
my like my first, I would say, like my first mainline, like either
Like Apple,
AT&T,
yeah, Apple
T-Mobile.
iPhone.
Yeah. Mine was the Samsung Galaxy J3. I remember it like it was yesterday. Piece of garbage, Samsung. Absolutely love that phone. Not gonna lie.
Well, when you
um,
go from nothing to to that, even dog
oh,
shit.
Chrome. It's like, oh my god,
Yeah,
this
if
is
you have
awesome.
nothing and you get dog shit would feel like the best thing on earth. All right.
And then, so now this is like the start of high school that I had this, and then ninth grade or 10th grade, I got my iPhone 7, and then right after high school, I got my iPhone 11,
Yeah.
and then I just upgraded this year because, oh my god, dude, I should send you pictures of my iPhone later,
Little battle
obviously.
worn.
It is absolutely battle worn. Like I fucked this fucker up. Like I cracked the absolute shit out of the screen. Um, I have like a string of dead pixels, and that's because of my job. Just FYI.
Yeah.
And but then I upgraded to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which
Yeah.
I am very happy with.
So I don't. Like I said, I remember my first smartphone was an iPhone 4. Might have been an iPhone 4S. Either way, iPhone 4. It was my brother's old one. It was a white one. I remember that much. And yeah, I can't remember when I got it. Might have been 5th grade that I got it. Yeah, it sounds about right. 5th grade. Because I think I had it I know, I'm pretty sure I had an iPhone. Because I've only ever had iPhones when it comes to smartphones. I don't like Samsung. I should say I don't like Samsung. I don't like Androids. Or Android. The operating system of Android. I think it's overly complicated. To do something on Android it's a lot easier to do it on iOS compared to Android, in my opinion.
I just sent you the picture.
Okay, I'll look at it later. So, I want to say my second phone I had was when Apple first came out with the iPhone SEs. And I want to say that might have been like 9th grade.
I you know
No,
what?
there's no way I
Hot
haven't.
take. Hot take number two. Except this time it's with Dillon.
Hot
The
take with Dillon.
iPhone
Dun dun
S
dun.
The iPhone SE, I think, is absolute dog shit. Absolute dog shit.
Well, see what the iPhone
It's
SE.
literally just the older generation of phone.
Well, what the iPhone SE was, and it was a great idea by Apple because not everybody can afford. Back when phones were only $7.99, we all laugh now. $6.99, $7.99, but not everybody could afford that, so they had an iPhone SE for like people that had kids. They don't need the latest and greatest iPhone from Apple, so we get an iPhone SE. I think I might have had something in between the iPhone 4 and the iPhone SE. But I know if I did, but I know from the iPhone SE, no, I take that back. Whenever Apple came out with the iPhone XR, not the iPhone 10, the XR, which came out the year after the 10 did, that was when I went from the iPhone SE to the iPhone XR. So, and I want to say
Major upgrades.
whenever that came out, that's when I went. So, I had the iPhone SE for I think about 2 years. And so, and then basically since then, I've gotten the next iPhone every year. I want to say, except I might have not gotten the 11, but I know I've for sure have gotten the 12 when it came out, the 13 when it came out, and the 14 when it came out. And when I bought those, it was all Pro Maxes.
Yeah, you guys can say he's a little bit of an Apple whore.
I'm an Apple whore. I actually was a lot worse before. When Apple would come out with anything new, I would get it. I've backed off on that a lot.
Good, good.
But I'll probably still get the next iPhone when it comes out. Because what I would do is, what I do is, so I have the Apple card, and when you buy something through Apple, you get 3% cash back. If you buy, well, I'm sorry, if you buy anything using the card itself, it doesn't matter what you're buying. If you use a physical card, like chip and everything, into the credit card reader, you get 1%. Doesn't matter what you're buying, 1% cash back. If you use Apple Pay, which is like you're using through your phone, you hit the power button twice and it opens the Apple Card on your phone, and you do the touchless pay, you get 2%. Again, regardless of what you're buying. And then if you buy anything through Apple, you get 3%. Now, there are a few other companies, too, that have also done that. Like, I think if you buy anything from ExxonMobil, like gas, and you use Apple Pay, you get 3%. If you buy stuff through Nike, I think you get 3%, as long as you use Apple Pay. But it's because the reason they did is Apple wanted to people start using Apple Pay rather than the actual physical card itself.
Right.
Which I find hilarious because the card is made out of titanium, and my old debit card, which, debit cards just made out of plastic. I think that thing could only go like a year and a half before I'd have to get a new one because the chip would go bad. Because sitting in my wallet, it would fold a little bit. It would Apple Card made out of titanium. I had that bitch I've had that for like 3 or 4 years. Never had a problem with it. It's still going strong. Still going like a son of a bitch. So, yeah, it's...
Yeah, because I also have an Apple Card, of course, but the only thing that's like wrong with it, quote unquote wrong, is that it's just discolored.
You just got discolored?
Yeah, mine has like a pink line on it, just because like from wear and tear, and because of the job that I had with my dad, which was at a printing factory. I would always have my wallet in my back pocket because I didn't like leaving it in my bag or anything like that.
So it wasn't like so much it got discolored from being in your wallet. It's got discolored probably because it got ink on it.
Ink on it, and then it just spreads.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So that's not the card's fault. That's just nature of where the card's environment was.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so anyway, circling back to when I personally think giving a kid their first true full-blooded smartphone, either be it iPhone, whatever, Samsung Galaxy or whatever, should be no earlier than 12 for a full-blooded smartphone. I think you could give them a cell phone at 9 or 10 because at that point now they're biking to, they're riding their bikes to friends' houses and,
I go over to Billy's house? Yeah.
Yes. And, and all that stuff. So, and you kind of, you want to know where they are and all that stuff, if they go biking or whatever.
And it just makes a lot more sense because, like a lot of parents, like, back in the day, like, even my mom, when she would let us go out and play, we'd go to the park across the street, but where I grew up as a kid, obviously there was, like, wasn't a safe part. Saw a drug deal happen. And I'm, like, 10 years old, and I think I'm going to die because, I just witnessed a drug deal. But, or at least what I think is a drug deal. But, there was no way I could contact my mom because, cell phones weren't popular.
Right.
Or they were just getting popular.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So, but then, also,
But then, at 13, my mom for sure was like, she made sure I had some way to contact her.
Right.
Just to be like, hey, just let me know where you are or whatever.
Right. So, and then, also, too, if you... it's also just so that your parents could get a hold of you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know back in the day, back when, my parents were kids, it was always as long as you're home by dark. Which sucked, because if you are in Michigan, like us, it gets dark at 5:30 in the wintertime. You get home from school, you go oh, we're going to go build a snow fort with your friends. Oh, shit, Billy, time to go home. So that, just so they could get a hold of you, they could be like, hey, you little shit, get home. You better get home in 10 minutes or your ass is grass, something like that. So,
yeah.
So I get that, but, I have a problem. Hot take number 3, number 2 by me. Hot take number 3 overall. I have a serious problem with parents, and it might be because when I grew up we didn't have this stuff.
iPad kids.
What?
That's what they're dubbed. I think I know what you're going to say is iPad kids.
Now, it might have been because when I was a kid, there was no such thing as an iPad. Hell, the iPod came out the year I was born in 2001. Okay? And I don't even think it was I think the iPod came out in 2001. So, that's all there was. And it wasn't nothing special. It played music. That's all the iPod did. Okay? There was no iPads. There was no iPhones. There was nothing like that. So it's like, if you were a kid, your parents, you either, they'd put on a movie, or you would play with toys, or God forbid you go outside and play with your friends. I know, what a freaking crazy concept that is. Now, I hate when parents just give their kids iPads. Like
Yeah, our
you are creating such a huge um problem for later in life for this kid.
I yeah,
It's
I read somewhere that just real quick, our generation, mine and yours, were the last kids to play outside like regularly with our
probably
friends and shit.
probably I don't doubt
It's just
that.
terrible now.
Yep, it's like I get in some situations the kids might be paying a pain in the ass. Like say you go to a restaurant, you go to a sit down restaurant, you bring your kid with you, 3 or 4 years old, kid starts throwing a fit, and you're in public, you don't want to ruin everybody else's dinner experience. I get that. So either A, don't bring the kid, get a babysitter, or B, just don't go. I guess don't go to like maybe a true sit down restaurant like an Olive Garden or something. Maybe just get takeout.
Right.
Just get
Yeah.
takeout then. You could still get
Like
Olive
that.
Garden on takeout.
See, that's
I
another
get maybe
thing.
you want to go to a sit down restaurant, but nature of the beast is giving them an iPad and letting them occupy themselves is not good for the kid. It's not good for later in life or when they become an adult because it shortens their
Because
attention span.
yeah, it shortens their attention span. It gives them it probably leads to social anxiety because they're not interacting with anybody.
Right. They want
And I'm not
and then they
saying,
want immediate satisfaction of stuff.
and I'm not saying because I've dealt with social anxiety. It sucks because but that wasn't caused from you know being on an iPad my whole life because I played with my friends and stuff. It's just when you get older, you start taking in more information and stuff.
Right.
But also being a shy kid didn't help. But
Mm-hmm.
like, it's the same thing with everything else now. Like, just like debating whether or not is this kid the right age to do this certain thing. Like,
Right.
I don't understand. Like, I can understand to a certain extent, like if you can't find a babysitter and stuff. But like, why people would bring, you know, their toddler or whatever, a a growing human who's curious about everything to like a restaurant. It's just like they're gonna touch everything. They're gonna want to
Right.
put shit in their mouths. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like
Well, and I
just leave them
think
at home or with a babysitter, or
right.
like you said, order takeout.
Right. And I get so thankfully nobody's gonna listen to this episode probably, so there won't be a lot of blowback. I get you can't completely revolve your life around the kid when you have a child. You can't completely. I mean, yes, you're probably going to be 90% of your life is now going to be going for whatever it is to boom around that child. But you can't be on parent mode 24/7. That's a good way to drain yourself physically and
Yep.
mentally. Okay, I get that. So maybe just you and your spouse go into a sit down restaurant for an hour just to decompress, have a bottle of wine or whatever, for an hour or two, just to be like, "Hoof, no kid, don't have to worry about it." I get that.
Yeah, normalize taking breaks from your kids.
Right. I get that. Okay, but there's a difference. You could take the kid with you, but kids are not bad. Do not have bad behaviors by themselves. They don't get that by themselves. That's down to parenting. It's the same thing.
Uh,
It's the same thing with pit bulls. Pit
See,
bulls.
I'm also gonna debate this.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
let me finish. So pit
yeah,
bulls are not a bad breed. They get a bad rep
right,
because generally pit bulls are not a breed of dog that a lot of higher society people tend to get. It's just not. Okay? So it's your lower society who maybe unfortunately beat the dog or don't take care of the dog properly or don't train the dog properly. Okay? The dog goes and mauls a kid. And now it's like, oh, it's the pit bulls. They're bad. But no, it's not the dog's fault. It's not the dog's
right.
fault. It's the owner's fault. The owner didn't properly take care of the dog. Didn't
Like,
train it. Didn't do whatever. The dog's just doing something. He might think someone's invading on his territory and he's standing his ground.
right.
You know.
There's like, you gotta train your dog.
Yeah.
Like,
So, and I know what you're gonna bring up. Going back to the kid, if your kid, I don't want to sound bad. If your kid is normal, I should say.
yes, it's
Doesn't
nature versus
doesn't
nurture.
Yes.
Nature
doesn't
versus nurture.
Yes, a normal child doesn't generally just have a bad behavior or a bombastic or wild behavior. That is through
Un-
parenting.
right.
Unless the
Unless
kid has
they have like,
ADHD, autism, whatever.
well, not even that. Like, obviously, mental illnesses, but like, that's the thing. Mental illnesses, like, are they, sociopaths,
Right.
psychopaths? What,
Yes.
if they're dealing with that, that's because them and themselves, like, their brain just cannot handle like social
Yeah.
interaction
But
or something like that. Their brain doesn't think how it should
right.
in those types of
Yeah.
situations.
And
That would be down to nature.
yes.
That's not the parents doing. That's just how their kid is.
Right. But I also don't blame that on the kid. It's not the kid's fault.
Right.
It's not the kid's fault that his brain's fucked
Yeah.
up.
In the womb, he wasn't like, I'm gonna be a sociopath.
Yeah, it could have been. There was a, his brain didn't fully develop in the womb or something. So it's, it's got a screw loose. All right, it's got a screw loose.
Right.
That's not the kid's fault. That's what I have a problem. Another problem I have with parents these days is time out. Time out is not a punishment. Go sit in the corner because you did this or whatever for 15 minutes. That's not a punishment for a child. I'm sorry. That's not.
And okay, let's get one thing straight. All right. I hate like how I was raised was I was disciplined,
Yeah.
And I got my butt whooped.
Yeah.
I got my butt
You
spanked.
got your ass
But
whooped. Yeah, if you took something so far over the line, yeah, you got a spanking.
yeah. And that's the thing. All these people out here are saying, "Oh, don't beat your children." You're not beating them.
No.
There is a difference between
yes.
having a tap and need I mind you, a tap. Okay? Not a full on, get the fuck out of here,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like it's just because it's the person that does it.
Yeah.
Like my grandpa, if he went to go spank us because we did something, instantly bawling. He didn't even touch me.
Yeah.
He's like, if you keep doing that, I'm gonna whoop your ass.
Oh shit.
Start crying.
Well,
oh
see,
no.
If you give the child, now obviously giving a child an ass whooping when they're 2, probably not right. When
yeah,
because the child doesn't know. When they're 4 and 5, now they're starting to get into the point where they actually will retain memories.
Right.
If you
Where
give them, if they do,
consciousness.
if they do something horrible, whatever it is, and you give them a good spanking, I had that once. That was always the threat. Because then after that, all my parents do was had to do was make a threat. That if I kept doing whatever I was doing because I was doing something bad, if he kept doing, I was gonna get a spanking. Boom, stopped right there because I already knew what that was like. Don't want to go.
And I do
want
to say, if the wrong person listens to this and they're like, oh well, now the parents just threatening them. Well, you're doing the same thing if you're just threatening them with timeout.
Yeah,
you're
like if you don't stop doing that, you're gonna go sit in timeout. 99 times out of 100, that kid still keeps doing it because timeout is you go sit in the corner for a half hour with a fucking iPad. That's not timeout. That's not
see, my timeout was go to the corner, turn around, and I don't want to see your face for the next 15 minutes.
My timeout was go to your room. We'll come to you when it's dinner time. And it could be 2:00 in the afternoon.
See, my mom was kind of brutal. She was like, "You're standing there for 15 minutes. You're not sitting. You're not kneeling. Nothing. You're standing there."
Yeah.
And obviously, it wasn't for 15 fucking minutes. All right, no. It was like 3 minutes in, and I was already like, my knees are shaking. All right,
yeah, like, this shit sucks, man. You're never doing that shit again. Yeah, I got a problem with disciplining. Like I said, you don't need to go to the extreme where like they're 2 years old and they accidentally knock a face off a shelf. Oh, get it, black and blue.
Yeah, and then you fucking like body slam them against the wall.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, like that.
Like,
come on,
Jesus
man.
Christ.
Come on. But
like, and another misconception that I feel like is like, going back to people in the lower society, like, sometimes these parents get a bad rep because they let their kids do whatever they want. Well, the same thing can be said about rich people.
Yes.
Okay? Either one's going to turn out to be a bratty little shit.
Yeah, I think it's actually more common with rich people because rich people are just like, throw money at it,
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
I'll fix the problem.
Take this toy.
Yeah, the rich people can afford the iPads. The people living in trailer parks, they can't generally afford iPads.
Go play in the dumpster, Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly. So one last story before we wrap this up. I think the best punishment, and I give my dad credit for this, and I still remember this. The best punishment I ever got was, I don't remember what I did off the top of my head. If I sat and thought about it for a little while, I could. I don't remember what I did off the top of my head, but I did something, and whatever it was, he was going to give me a spanking. But what he did is he made me go over to the drawer where all the cooking utensils are, and picked out the spoon he was going to, smack me in the ass with. Actually went over there and picked out the spoon. And trust me, when you're looking at it, you're looking at a wooden spoon and plastic spoons, there's really not a good option. And I gave him the spoon, and then he never even spanked me. Just going over there and picking up the spoon was the punishment.
That's crazy.
And then I gave him the spoon, and then he never spanked me with it. That was his punishment, was just me going over there and picking out the spoon he was going to whoop my ass with, and then never did it.
I can tell you an even better punishment.
Okay, last one before we wrap it up.
Yeah, last one. So, I'm like 7 years old.
Yep.
All right. I'm that age where, like,
now
I know then? Right and wrong. Back then.
Okay.
Like, what?
It made you think.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. So, my mom, she was a big, like, she's had to deal with, like, abusive relationships and stuff like that. Yeah. And so she raised me to never raise my hand to a woman, no matter what, unless it was self-defense, of course.
Right.
Then
obviously, if she's
crazy bitches coming at you with a knife.
Yeah, she's sitting she's sitting you kicking in the nuts. After the fourth or fifth time, that bitch is going down.
Yeah, right. So I'm like 7 years old, so I know the difference between right and wrong. Right. Like, no matter what.
For the most part.
Well, my mom pissed me off for whatever reason. I don't know. Obviously, it was something stupid because I was a kid.
Yeah.
I raised my fist to her.
She didn't give me no damn candy bar at the grocery store, that bitch.
I raised my fist to her.
Ooh.
All she said, if you're going to raise it, you better use it. Now go upstairs. She didn't tell me where to go. She just said, go upstairs. With words. She didn't touch me. She just looked me dead in my eye, said that to me, and was like, go upstairs. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
Walked upstairs. I went to my room. Somehow, I had a fucking mental breakdown as a 7-year-old. I was like, dude, I raised my fist to my mom, and I started crying because I was like, damn, I'm fucked up. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
And I started feeling like shit. So, I go downstairs and I get ready to talk to her, and obviously I apologize and stuff like that, and she's like, yeah, you don't ever do that to me again. And well, since then I've never done that. And that was what was it? I'm 22 now, 15 years ago.
Yeah. See, there's times where not actually physical punishment, just disappointment. Just the disappointment.
The big I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
I'm disappointed. And if the parents can broadcast that properly, that will hit, if the kid actually has a conscience, that'll hit a kid in the feels like no business.
Oh yeah.
I think that's kind of what my dad did, but he probably was never planning on smacking me, but just having me go through it, letting me think, oh my God, I've had it happen before, and I'm pretty sure probably during the whole thing I was crying. Probably going through the whole process, I was probably crying. But then he actually...
Like a little bit. No,
yeah,
I'm playing.
Probably. But yeah, it's, like I said, sometimes disappointment is better than actual punishment, per se. Because I think the worst thing I wanted to do when I was a kid was disappoint my parents. Especially in public. If you embarrass them in public, I would hate doing that now.
Yeah.
That's why I hate being embarrassed in public now. I try not to. That's why I'm so, like, sometimes if I'm not around my group of friends, I'm just like, mind my own. Not mind my own. Just gonna do my own thing here. Just go with the crowd, do what the crowd's doing. If you don't do anything different from the crowd, you're not being different. No one's gonna look. So
you're right.
So yeah, that's what I think. So, okay, this episode ran longer than we intended, but we actually went a lot better. I thought we were gonna like run through everything, be like, shit, it's only been like a half hour. What the hell are we gonna talk about now?
Right.
So we've been going on for a little over 2 hours now. So we are gonna try and, like I said, we're gonna try and do this weekly. Um,
Yep.
this might go up on either Friday or Saturday. I don't plan on that being the normal. The normal will probably be Monday of every week, Monday or Tuesday of the weeks. So we only did this because I had the chance. I didn't work this week of Labor Day because I took that time off, so we had a chance to record it early. Dillon's going somewhere on this weekend, so he wouldn't be able to, so we did it today. We are going to try and maybe get somewhere where you could follow us. At least I know for sure this will go up on Apple Podcasts. I don't know exactly where everywhere where this will go up. I know for sure Apple Podcasts. It might go on Spotify and all that stuff, but we'll figure that out as we go. This is all
Amazon, because I listen to Amazon.
Okay, if you want to handle doing that, by all means, go for it, man.
I'm not really. I don't have the technology smarts.
Yeah. So, anyways, this is the learning process. If you can't tell. So, like I said, look out for us every week. If this comes out on Friday, probably the next one won't be for another week and a half. Anyways, I'm Colin. He's Dillon. This was the If Stupid Had a Name podcast.
Whoa, thank you. Episode 1.
Yep. Leave reviews, and like I said, look out for the next episode, and we will catch you next time.